knee moves to the right, it allows my arms and body to turn inward. And as I shift my right knee toward the ball and laterally down the line, it lowers the swing plane from the top of the backswing. The lateral force lowers the vertical force slightly inward, and we have a slight change of plane. And the golf swing really is an inverted C. The key is to make the inverted C very, very small. We don't want a big loop this way or a big loop that way. We want to set the golf club in position, shift, and turn, and that lowers the arm inward, forces the right arm to move toward the right hip joint. Then the force of the right arm and hand explode against the left. The left acts as a fulcrum to the right, keeps the club face square. The body keeps moving and shifting and turning to complete the swing. Now, most golfers that I teach, especially non-athletic players, they swing at the ball and they turn and stop. They want to know why their body doesn't keep moving. And weight must move to support motion. That means that as the motion of the club moves to the right, the weight must go to the right. And as the club goes up, the weight really stops turning to a degree to allow the club to get in position. Then the weight now must shift down, forward, and around to the left. And that allows the three forces to blend to create the power source that we're looking for to accelerate the arms and hands into the golf ball. You will see this with Tiger Woods because he does all three, and he does them so quick that if you don't slow it down, you couldn't catch it. And the amazing thing is the lateral force is a very important part of the golf swing. And I don't see it talked about a lot because I think people want them to, they want their body to turn and to create a good arm swing and a good arc, but the lateral force is very important. Now we have teachers teaching players to shift the step-in drill. That's to feel the lateral force. Because now the left foot can move out of place from one place to another. We don't have that luxury when we're striking the ball in a golf swing. The feet are a source of a control factor for the turning of the body and the shifting of the body. It's like a house that has four corners and it's trying to stabilize. If one of those breaks down, the house will tilt or fall over.
How do you get the recreational player who isn't particularly athletic to make the move that you want them to? Because there's no way to intellectualize all the things that you've said and think through those as you make a golf swing. So what specific directions do you give your students?
Stay light on your feet to start with. You can't become a good dancer unless you're light on your feet. You can't move from one side to the other if you're heavy on your feet. If your feet are heavy, your hands are heavy, if your arms are heavy, you have no choice. You have no chance. See, the golf club is light and the swing is free, so the body has to feel light and free, even though it's heavy. And most golfers are too heavy, too tight, too laden down, too sunk in, and they're like corkscrews. That isn't the way to play golf. So I tell them to get light on their feet, and I tell them to feel like their feet are moving faster going forward than they are going backward. We don't want to waste any motion going this way when we need weight to move to support motion going that way. That's why when you see the good player hit a golf ball, his feet and legs get fast moving that way, forward and around, because the club is going to move forward and around. He has no choice. As this club starts moving inward to go forward and around, the lower part of our body has to move to support that. That's what it's built for. There's the foundation of the golf swing. And why does Bob Toski get the distance he gets at 74 years of age? I utilize the upper and lower part of my body to its fullest degree to get the maximum potential kinetic energy through potential energy to hit the ball to my target.
You still weigh 120 pounds?
No, I'm up to 135, Peter. I'm getting heavy.
You're on a big diet.
I've got to look at my weight here.
You still dancing?
Oh, I love to dance. Oh, I love to dance.
Be back to dance with Bob in just a moment. Don't go away.
I see players on TV, it looks like the right wrist is hinged, and mine tends to be straight, and I was wondering, you know, should I make myself hinge that right wrist? Because my move tends to be, it leads the right shoulder right out, and then I sort of come over the top.
Your right hand should be underneath the shaft at the top of your backswing.
In other words, should there be a hinge?
Oh, yes, you need a hinge. You need to look at your right hand at the top of the swing, and you need to have some wrinkles there. If you haven't any wrinkles in your right wrist, John, you have no wrist cock. You're locked up. You're dead. You got no chance.
That's what I have. It's like a frozen wrist
Yeah,
there.
well, that's what you are. Your swing is frozen. You're frozen. Your hand's frozen.
It looks like I'm pruning a tree a lot of times. A lot of guys says, you ought to get a saw and do some work for me around the house.
Kevin, here it is, baby. You just got to go let that arm swing up and let the wrist hinge and feel like the hand is underneath the shaft and slightly to the right of your shoulder there.
When you talk about, if I get it in that position, how can I get some width? In other words, I've heard people say that you spring it or you throw the toe to get some width, in other words, to straighten the right arm then.
No, because your left arm hasn't controlled your backswing and downswing. Your left arm is your master arm in your golf swing. The straight lever must control the bent lever. This is the extension of your golf swing. This arm is your power arm. That's why it folds. When it folds and it stays flexible, it's got speed. If it gets straight, you lose your angle, you dissipate the force. When you get to the ball, you got nothing left. This is your power arm. It must stay flexed. It must stay down. It must move in. The wrist must retain its angle so you can explode the hand at the bottom of the arc. So therefore, you need to control the backswing and downswing with the lead lever because it's a straighter of the two levers. Two bent levers will fold the swing, dissipate the force. You swing like Shirley Temple. You've got to go ahead and keep the left arm swinging, and you've got to keep that radius so that you can get a nice arc and let the arm go up and get a big arc. Try to get the shaft close to parallel. Get the right hand underneath and keep the right hand following the left. And as the right hand catches up to the left, that's when you get your power at the point of impact.
Let's take them through the rest of the swing when the arms actually reverse positions and the left arm folds and the right arm is actually going to be straight, the opposite of the backswing.
That's because the players are pressuring the club with the wrong hand on the way down. See, they're trying to get power from this side of the shaft with the right arm. And as that right arm exerts effort on the shaft, see what it does? It straightens the left arm out, and then as it straightens it out and then it bends it because the right is working over the left, he's out of position, he's lost all the speed.
But we see good players, of course, when after they make contact with the ball, the left arm does fold, as the right arm did on the backswing.
Because of the rotation of the wrist and hand joint. As the wrist and hand exert the speed that's necessary to accelerate the club, because your hands and wrists are your fastest producers of speed. Now when they move this fast through the ball and rotate and create a circle, naturally the left arm has to fold to support the right, just like the right folded to support the left on the backswing.
So if you get one effective fast moment per golf swing, where should it occur?
At and past impact.
Let's check in with Bob in Virginia. How are you tonight, sir?
Oh, good evening.
He's over there.
Sir, Mr. Toski,
Hi, everybody.
I think my arms are swinging my body, and one of them is outdoing the other one. How in the world can I be in sync? I don't know if I'm tilting enough, but I'm coming down when I swing. When I go through, I'm flat-footed.
Well, first of all, did you say you were trying to swing your body?
No. I said my arms are past my body on a downswing, and I'm flat-footed when I come to impact. I can't seem to...
You have no weight shift.
Okay.
When you're flat-footed, you have no weight shift because you haven't moved from your right to your left foot. Watch and see when I start down how quickly my right knee moves forward and my right heel gets off the ground. If you keep that right heel down on the ground too long and you don't shift your weight, your body is going to turn to the left, your shoulders are going to turn to the left, your arms are going to go outward, and when you get to the ball, you've got nothing left. So I would suggest, if you want to get control of your downswing, as you reach the top of your backswing, you should start feeling like you're moving your lower body first from your hip joints down to your knee joints, and you'll feel your knees move first through your hip line, and that'll help your left arm swing the club down inside. But watch my right heel now. See it leave the ground? Watch. You'll see a sequence of Tiger tonight. When he starts down with that driver, this heel is moving off the ground, and his right knee is moving forward, forcing this right arm to catch up. See, the right arm is trying to catch up to the right leg and the right foot from the inside. And here you'll see him here, and then you'll see him there. That's because his feet and legs are forcing his arms and hands to catch up. He's moving to it to get through it. If you're flat-footed, you might as well start walking like this. That doesn't look too natural. When you walk, it's toe and heel, heel and toe.
You want to say do that hi everybody thing again?
Hi, everybody.
Okay, very nice. When we come back, why don't we go ahead then and take a look at Tiger's swing, and you'll analyze it for us in just a moment. Hi, everybody.
Do you want to play better golf? Then start swinging the Momentous Swing Trainer. PGA Tour players and thousands of amateurs have made dramatic improvements.
There's a lot of merit to it. It really does make you swing the club properly and make you control the club. And if you can do that with a heavy club like the Momentous, imagine how you can do with a regular golf club.
Are you looking for rapid and long-lasting improvement? Mario DiLeonardo lowered his handicap from a 22 down to a 3.
Basically, it's just taking my goals to shoot in the 70s and hopefully become scratch or lower soon, and created a lot less time to get there.
The weighted shaft swings the Momentous along the proper swing plane, ingraining the field to consistently hit longer, straighter, and more accurate golf shots. To order the Momentous Swing Trainer and receive a free Momentous putter, call.
What we're watching, tell us if there's anything that he does that mere mortals can try to do for themselves.
Well, first of all, let me just explain to the audience that great players swing well from above their waist on their backswing. As his arm swing, notice how his upper torso turns, and on the way down, on the downswing, the lower body moves beautifully. So great players swing well from above their waist on their backswing and move beautifully from beneath their waist on the downswing. And he correlates and synchronizes that. Now, he was looking down the fairway to decide where his ball is going. Notice the width of his stance to support the amount of force that he needs to generate from his upper body and support it with his lower body. And his arm swing is probably the fastest arm swing in the game today. His arms move so fast around and up and down, around and up, that he doesn't have to force his wrists and hands to work that hard because they're the weakest link. And he supports that by a good right knee controlled action on his backswing. His setup is good. Watch and see when he swings back, his head will move slightly to the right and then turn because his club head is moving sideways to start on the line of play. But he correlates the upper and lower body, part of his body beautifully. He synchronizes the swing, turn, and shift, as I see it, as good as any player in the world. He's got a beautiful grip. He's been taught beautifully by Butch Harmon. He winds that arm up in the shoulders, and then he shifts the lower body and lets the upper body respond. Now, here's a good view here. Notice the width of his stance, which supports the amount of lower body drive he needs. Now, when he starts back, he will keep the club on the line of play, and then the head moves slightly to the right, and then it stops and starts turning as the club moves to the side of his body. You can see the beautiful width of the left arm and the extension of the shaft right in line with the line of play. In other words, he's parallel to the line. The elbow is going to start folding as the wrist joints start cocking the club upward and the shoulders keep turning, but he's supporting the right knee. Now look at the height of his hand, and look at the beautiful position of the club, which is going to be parallel at the top. To me, is the important position in golf for balance. His upper body is coiled, has got time to shift. The club head is parallel to the line of play. His hands are higher than you might think. He's got all that leveraged and giving this club head time to go up and come down and giving his body time to shift forward and then around. When you combine that vertical leverage and that lateral and rotary force like he is, it's amazing. Now watch his downswing. Watch his right knee get to the ball, and watch his right heel come off the ground and his knee drive forward. Now what happens here is the right arm, see the right arm tucked into his right side? It is now that entire right arm being that flexed and that wrist joint being still cocked is trying to catch up to his right knee and leg and foot. And what is happening here is the right arm is trying to catch up to the right leg, and the right leg is moving fast because the heel is up and the knee is going forward. The left hip is clearing to allow the the arms to rotate fast around the body through the hands and wrists. Now watch and see as he passes through this ball how fast his right side turns and then catches up to the left side. This is in slow motion. You can see now that he's striking against the back of his left wrist, which is supporting the blow of the right hand. His head has maintained a steady head position. You got a slight tilt in the shoulders, which he should have at this point in his golf swing. Notice his right, how high his right heel is off the ground. And watch and see now, because of the force of the golf club moving so fast around his body, that the hips are clearing fast, and the right knee is starting to move closer to the left knee very quickly. And now he has great extension with his right arm going through the ball, just like he did the opposite of his left arm going back. So now the left arm is folding to allow the club to rotate around his body. And then you will see, as he finishes swing, how far around the back of his head the speed of the golf club has forced his arms and hands to travel. Look at how far his hands have gone behind his head. He can't stop that. The club is moving too fast. Just remember, he's going 130 miles per hour. Beautiful golf swing. One of the greatest swings in the game of golf.
Now we'll take a look from a different view, and again with the driver. Tell us what we should appreciate here.
Notice he's making practice swings here just to get some rhythm and freedom in his arms. You notice he's not going to swing. He's not swinging that fast in his premeditated practice swing because he's not going to try to drive the ball. And he doesn't. He was just looking down the fairway to see where he's going to try to strike the ball. Now watch and see how beautifully he's set up here. Everything is pretty square. And he's got a beautiful grip. The club will start on the line, move around and up. And the swing was so fast there, but notice he got to the parallel position beautifully. And watch and see as he gets to the parallel position and his lower body starts to move, that it forces the angle of the left arm to move slightly inward, and he keeps the club in beautiful plane. He doesn't try to force the club to change directions lower or higher. He just comes down almost on the same plane that he went back on, meaning that he's got great control of his hand and wrist action, and his arms have such great speed supported by the shifting of the lower body. His head is really staying steady to a degree that he doesn't go up and down too much and too far right or too far to the right or left. Here we go again. Club head started straight on the line. The club head now is turned and facing at right angles, right in line with his lead arm. See that? Right in line with the lead arm. Beautiful position. It could be slightly more inside. I would like it a little more inside, but it will get there. Watch and see from here how the arm now goes up as the wrist and hands set the club at the top, coiling the body. The right knee is resisting. The left knee has bent toward the ball. Now watch and see how the right knee drives the left knee forward and clears the left hip. That quick. See it? The right knee driving the left knee forward and clearing the left hip. The lead arm swinging the club inward, forcing the right arm to get in closer to the body, retaining the wrist angle so the club doesn't unload too early. Watch and see the accelerated force now, how the right arm and hand try to catch up to the left. The left bears against the right, keeping the club face square. And from there, the club head just whirls around to the left, up and around his body, completes a full swing through the ball. His head is still focused down toward the ball, and then he looks and follows the flight of the ball. Look at that follow-through. Very few people can swing the club that fast and maintain that good body balance and that good body control. He's, to me, almost a freak.
We're going to take a break, and as we leave, we're going to have our weekly MaxFly Innovative Idea, which was suggested today by our guest, Mr. Toski. Who were the founders of the first National Golf School?
When it comes to putting, people that have no touch will never be good putters because the force of the arms and hands and shoulders, and we're trying to keep our body quiet. We don't need any body motion to speak of, so all we try to do is keep our heads still. And I'm going to start by showing the people on the screen here to start putting with just their left arm and hand and try to swing the putter back and keep it relatively square. It's going to move slightly inside as it should on a good putting stroke, and then try to keep the putter head square as it moves toward the hole. Let the arm swing back and let the arm swing forward, and try to keep your hand in a neutral position at the address position with your eye slightly inside the ball forward of center toward the inside of the left heel, and then swing. You should start making putts doing that. to allow the putter to accelerate toward the hole. And then when you've done that and made putts, go to your right hand and put your left hand in your pocket or to the side of your body. Get your right hand in the neutral position. Aim the putter head, starting from the same position where your eyes are slightly inside the ball, and swing the putter head back and the putter head forward, and try to feel like the putter head stayed square. It won't. It'll go slightly inside, and it'll come back to square and go inside again. Now, what happens in golf is simply this. When I putted with my left hand, you will feel like the left hand is pushing back and pulling through. Then when you putt with the right hand, you'll feel like the right hand, the left hand is pushing back, and the right hand is pulling back and pushing through. The opposite effect. You have two opposite effects. The left hand pushes and then pulls, and you can pull something straighter than you can push it. That's why the left hand is important, in that it keeps moving, support the right hand. And when you do that, then when you feel the right hand swing, you actually feel like you're pulling back and then pushing forward, and that keeps the putter head moving toward the line. Then, after you've had success doing that, take both hands and put them together and feel the same thing. Now, what you want to do is keep your grip pressure the same. You can't change your grip pressure. Once you've maintained a certain pressure in your fingers and hands and your heel, your hand, you must keep it the same, because if you get pressure on your fingertips as you putt, you're going to pull the ball. If you get pressure in your heels, you're going to push it. So the pressure from the fingertips into the palm of the hand and the heel must stay constant and the same, and that gives you the flow and the control of the club face, going straight back to slightly inward to straight through and slightly inward. There's the most beautiful putting stroke in the world. That's what your good putters do. Watch Faxon, beautiful putting stroke. Locke did the same thing. The putter could stay square if you had a short putt, but once you have a longer putt, the putter wants to move inside. Another thing I would ask you to do is this. Raise your left wrist so that it's firm. And then take your right hand and just swing and hit your left hand. As it does, it moves the left hand forward. But notice there was no breakdown. The left wrist moved with the left arm forward, kept the right hand moving toward the target and the club face toward the target. This is the position that you want. You don't want your hands too low, because they're going to twist the club face and move it out of line. So we want the left wrist firm, because it acts as a fulcrum. It feels stronger. It feels more secure. And you can start with the palm and hit the palm and then go forward, keeping the club face square. As you hit your palm, let the palm of the hand and arm move forward with the right hand to support the force of the blow. And then you can close your fist and do the same thing. Then you felt the right arm and hand swing the putter head forward. Now once you get the feeling of that, raise this right elbow, left elbow and left arm up. Get this arm lower. This right hand must be lower and softer, because when this wrist joint and arm is softer, it has much better feel. See? This gets tight and that gets tight. Now you look like a spastic. You need to get this wrist firm, because it acts as a fulcrum to the right wrist. Notice the angle of my right wrist, Peter. Notice how much lower it is. And it now can move slightly inward, and it has some flow and some touch. The right hand has to have more touch than the left, because most people are right-handed. So once you get that set up, and I'm pretty sure Dave Stockton is one that teaches this from what I've heard. Now what I try to do then is, just as my right hand moves forward, as I swing the putter head with my arms and hands and shoulders, I try to move it forward and let the putter head drive the ball toward the hole.
When you have a slightly longer putt, what are you aiming at? Are you trying to drop the ball over the front edge? Are you aiming for the center of the cup? Are you trying to hit the back of the cup?
I try to have the speed of the putt moving at a rate of speed, so that if it catches any side of the hole, the right or the left side or the back of the hole in the front, it'll go in. If it's moving too fast, it better go straight in the back of the hole, because otherwise, if the speed is too fast and it hits the corner hole, it's going to spin out. And the best putter in the world, you mind if I tell you the story about who I think is the best putter in the world?
What would you do if I told you I did mine?
Well, the fellow's name was Bobby Locke, and his speed of all his putts, he never had to mark the ball the second time. He said, "Bobby, my dear boy, would you mind if I putt it out, lad?" and you give it a little tap.
Did he really hook his putts, Bob?
No. You can't hook a putt. You can pull it, but you can't hook it because you got to get the ball in the air to hook it.
Did he take a divot, as was the rumor about his putting?
He didn't pull it, and the reason. These are all interesting. That's a good point, Peter. You know, you're some host. You're something else. You really know how to lead people and get the best out of them.
You don't need a lot of leading.
Well, tell me. I've got a wonderful wife that's watching this. She's been leading me for years. Thank the Lord. I need her. I could go astray very easily. You know.
There's a shocking statement.
There's a shocking statement. But here we go. Now, where was I? Bobby Locke.
Right. He didn't try to hook his putts or take a divot.
No, Bobby Locke didn't hook his putts. He closed his stance. His hands were a bit lower than normal. And as the club moved inward, he allowed the club to swing inward and he kept it low, but he didn't turn the putter open or he didn't turn it shut. He just moved it inward. And as he moved the putter toward the ball, he actually swung slightly downward and tapped the ball in the hole. He didn't concentrate on what we would call a follow-through toward the hole.
See, Hagen putted that way too, right?
Oh, what do you mean? Jones putted that way. Saracen putted that way. They were all basically tap putters. They weren't stroke putters as we see today. But they knew how to find the club face against the ball square. That's all they were trying to do. Locke would hit a putt, and then as he squared the putter head, then he would allow the putter to then move forward and go left. But he didn't worry about that because he was simply trying to make square contact, and his putter would actually hit the ground.
Do you think these guys, all the names you mentioned, played when the greens weren't as good? Do you think they developed the tap stroke to allow for the inconsistencies in the green that you don't have today, and that's why a stroke is more prevalent today than a tap?
That's only one point.
What's the other?
The other was the greens were slow, the shafts were heavy, the head weight was light. Did you ever look at somebody? In flow, your hands or wrists don't. They have speed. So you need to hold the club lightly and just swing it back and forth like this to feel how the arm flow is dictating the speed as you swing. Then move the club and gradually let the arm swing around, and as it swings up, the wrist will start turning, and as it does, the club head will start speeding up there. See it? Start to speed up, and then you've got to control that wrist turn. So you've got to feel like your wrist turn and your arm flow are very slow all the way to the top of your backswing. Then you need to go to this side of the body and do the same thing. Then you need to put both hands on the club. Hold it very light. If you hold it light and not tight, you'll win the fight. But if you're quick and fast, you'll never last. So swing the club head with a light grip pressure. Peter, you're making fun of me. But let your arms, watch it. See, my grip pressure is light. My arms are swinging freely but smoothly. My body is turning smoothly. And your grip pressure will increase as you swing, but don't try to do that. That'll really help you.
People actually pay you to spend time with you?
Yeah, would you believe that?
No, I wouldn't, actually.
Yeah, I get 150 an hour. Can you believe that?
Yeah, but Gary's not going to pay you anything for this particular
I
lesson.
really enjoyed working with you.
You haven't worked with him yet. You haven't met him yet. Hi, Gary.
Well, I'll send you a bill in the mail.
Thank you so much for taking my call.
He's delighted to take your call.
Thank you, sir. 15 handicap, quick, 15, 20 years, enjoyed the game thoroughly. Had a good swing, real good swing, and developed the shanks, the horrible laterals. And I believe my left side is opening up, coming over the top. Everything is wide open. One of the things that helped me cure it is I put all my weight on my right heel, lifted my right foot off the ground, and it seemed like it helped just with my short irons, wedges and pitching wedges. But, I mean, I'm ready to quit the game, so I need some desperate help, please.
No. Did the game quit on you?
No, I'll never quit the game.
The game wants you to keep playing. The
Yes,
golf
sir,
course
you betcha.
wants you to play. The golf
Yes,
course
sir.
wants you to enjoy playing golf. The game won't quit on you, so don't quit on the game. Quitters never win and winners never quit. So that's a good psychology for you. But if you're shanking the ball, there are a number of things in why we shank, but basically it's caused from tension and not understanding how to contact the ball with the club face correctly, near the center of the club head, you're catching the ball in the hosel. And most likely you're moving from the outward inside position, because most high handicappers, when they shank the ball, are coming across the ball here, and the hosel is moving toward the ball, and the toe is out there, and you catch the ball in the hosel, and the caroms off the hosel to the right. And what you need to do is put your feet together. Do not use any body motion at all except your arms, hands, shoulders, and wrists if you want to. Put the ball on the toe of the club. Put the ball on the toe of the club. Aim it toward a target. I'm going to aim toward Peter there. Put the ball on the toe of the club. Allow the toe to turn to the right. Allow the toe to square and turn to the left. And you cannot shank the ball. I've never seen anybody shank the ball on the toe. I can just hit it from the end of the toe, and the ball will go to the right, because my hands are that.
That's just what he needed to see.
My hands are that well trained. So it's amazing how you can shank a ball off the toe as opposed to the heel. So put the ball toward the toe of the club. Allow the toe to turn to the right. Allow it to square and turn to the left, and you will not shank the ball. That club will square up, and that ball will move right toward your target. I'm trying to chip toward that hole there. But notice my body is very still, and I'm trying to control my wrist rotation, my arm swing, and my shoulder rotation. And I'm doing that by feeling how sensitive my hands are to the turning force of the toe. Swing the toe, let it turn, let it square, and let it turn again, and you cannot shank the ball. Almost physically impossible.
How does he then go back to playing golf? Because that's been reinforced, the opening and the rotation of the club head should make him comfortable enough to actually make swings again?
Sure. Then all of a sudden, all he does is make a longer what? Makes a longer swing.
A longer what?
Longer golf swing. See? From the toe, he just makes a longer swing. And if I make a longer swing and try to hit the ball from the toe of the club will turn over. If anything, he'll pull or hook the ball, but he won't shank it.
Okay,
His body would have to move forward or backward or sideways to throw the club out of alignment.
You didn't get his address. You're not going to be able to send him that bill. We'll be right back. As we leave you, want to make sure you are familiar with our website. Actually, still
down, and the control of your body is through your feet and legs and hips, but it's your feet that control the balance of your body. As you know, footwork controls hand and arm work. Leg work controls hand and arm work. They work in sync. Good balance is caused from the weight going to the right foot, to the right heel, back to the left foot, around to the left heel. You go from the ball of the foot to the right heel, back to the ball of the foot to the left heel. And the balance comes from allowing the feet to keep moving, whether your left foot is off the ground or on the ground. Modern players today, as you know, Hank, keep their left heel down, but they release the right foot off the ground to allow the force to build up speed. But their footwork is the key, and their head control. The head is an axis in which your body revolves under and around, and that is the key to a good balanced golf swing. Tempo is important, rhythm is important, they're all part of that. But I would like to congratulate you on getting into the Alabama Hall of Fame.
Just been lucky to hang out with guys like you, Toski. You're the greatest.
And boy, it was fun working with you, and I miss you.
20 years he put up with you, he said?
Yes.
I'm going to tell everybody how they can find you, where they can take lessons for free, and that's at the Toski.
Sure.
Where they find out what you charge. The Toski Batters Beat.